Hey everybody, this is Jeff Amrine, founder and managing director of Startup Junkie. Startup Junkie is an entrepreneurial support organization. We're here to provide free services. We run accelerators. If you want to learn more about what we can do for you, check us out at startupjunkie.org. Hey everybody, this is Jeff Amrine, founder and managing director for Startup Junkie. We're actually here at the Startup Crawl, the 2024 Startup Crawl. And I'm very pleased today to be here for a discussion with my good friend, Louis Lee, new friend from Wonderful Platform, which is one of the fantastic companies that's in the Korea Global Expansion Accelerator that we're partnered with the Korea Entrepreneurship Foundation and KSIED. So
great to be here.
It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
You guys are solving a really interesting problem. But before we get into that, talk a little bit about your origin story. How'd you get to the point to be the CMO at Wonderful Platform?
Oh, that's a story. It's going to take about an hour and a half. So
I'll
keep
30
it
seconds.
short. 30 seconds. Born in Hong Kong, Korean. Parents immigrated to Hong Kong about 45 years ago. Did a lot of different areas of industry as a business, from mobile phones. It's mainly IT.
Right.
And then because of the global recession, everyone just packed their bags and went back to Korea.
Sure.
So once I went back to Korea, actually the CEO of our company, I knew him for about 25 years, 26 years. Mm-hmm. We partnered up in Hong Kong, and then we continued that partnership in Korea. And we said, look, we've dealt with the IT. Let's try to make the IT a little bit more charitable, make it a little bit more, have an impact on the society. So that's why we focus on senior care, on healthcare, where we can try to make solutions, IT solutions, for the benefit of seniors.
Sure.
As you know, aging population is growing and constantly being a problem. See what we can do on the non-medical side. See what we can do to help them engage and be more active. So that's a very short version.
That's how you got to this point. So the solution initially manifests itself in the form of a robot, right? Correct.
Instead of we're focusing on the more psychological side.
Sure.
So instead of having apps or websites or books or these kind of things, we actually employed that into a robot, a companion robot. It's about we size. And that robot just talks to you all day. Because eventually we figured out that after about 8 years in the business, that elderly people, they just want someone to talk to.
Sure.
They're left at home, they turn on the TVs, but it's non-interactive.
A lot of it's that isolation and the loneliness, right?
And that loneliness becomes depression, and depression becomes, and it's a big burden on the siblings. So what we try to do is have a little companion robot, just to engage and talk to them. If they slept well, what kind of dinner they had.
Sure.
And
it's unscripted, essentially AI chat.
It's all AI based.
Yeah.
So it's actually customized for you as time goes on.
Right.
If you're a foodie, then it will just talk about food with you.
Right.
And then it'll engage in the elderly to be more active.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's a solution that we're trying to develop. We have developed ourselves in Korea, but we're trying to get into the US market because the US has this need.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to expand into
aging population, increase in dementia, Alzheimer's, and memory care. And
correct. It has aging, senior care, and then we have implemented Alzheimer's care into it.
Right.
So it constantly reminds you or talks to you and helps you prevent that Alzheimer's stage.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. So if our listeners or viewers want to find out more about Wonderful Platform and the solution, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Right now, we have everything set up on our website. Wonderful Platform is a company name, but we have a brand name called Avadin. Mm-hmm. It's Avatar and Aladdin mixed into one.
Okay.
Someone came out with that name. So it's www.avadin.io.
Perfect.
And you can have all the information there.
And we'll make sure some of that gets put in the show notes as well.
Yeah, great. That would be
Louis,
great.
man, first of all, thanks for being here for the Global Accelerator. It's been a joy to get to know you.
Yes.
And look forward to much success for you and Wonderful Platform.
I'm enjoying the barbecue here.
Very good.
Yeah, because they have no barbecue in Korea. It's all Not good.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
I'm lucky enough today to be with J Lee, who is co-founder and CSO for DeepSales, and he's actually in for our global Accelerator program from Korea. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So now's the time when we typically talk about the origin story.
Okay.
Tell me how you got to the point of being CSO. Give a little of your background.
Well, we started this company because we were honestly doing some other items. We tried a bunch of different items that failed miserably.
Right.
And it was all due to sales. And the sales industry, the sales culture in Korea and Asia in general is done through what we call the 3 R's. So family relationships,
Right.
educational relationships, and regional relationships. If you don't have that, if you're a startup or if you're just getting started, you obviously don't know people to get you connected to it. So they don't have a program like yours, Startup Junkie, to connect people to like influencers or people who make the decisions.
Right.
And so we decided to, study sales. And we saw that in the US or in the European markets, sales is usually done through what we call a lead generation service.
Right.
So that helps you find people to talk to and get you connected to the right people. And we thought that, hey, why is this not a thing in Asia? So we decided to build one ourselves. Yeah, that's basically
Right.
how we started this business. And
Right.
initially, we started out with 20 million business profiles. And that was provided to us by the Korean government because Korean government also saw this issue and wanted to help us out. And we started with 20 million business profiles, and now we're up to 250 million.
Wow.
And we are on trajectory to get 400 million by the end of next year.
So who are the ideal customers that you're going after?
Honestly, ideal customers would be small to medium-sized enterprises that's willing to try out new sales methods.
Right.
Because what I've seen here is that people still use LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and just like they go out for coffee, and then it's still relationship based here as
Sure,
well.
sure.
So like someone who knows someone
Yep.
eventually knows a guy,
Yep.
and that's how sales is done here as well. I mean, it's a lot more effective,
Right.
but still there's some sort of nuance to it that's still lingering, and lead generation service can help you do more effective sales. And I'm not just speaking for our products, but lead generation service in general.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, people who have any products to sell or service to offer and small to medium sized would be our ideal
And so
customers.
talk about
Yeah.
how it works. You do the pre-qualification.
Yeah, so
You've got some AI built into all this. Give a little more of the guts of how it all works.
okay, so what we have is, like I said, 250 million business
Yep.
profiles.
Yep.
And we have that data classified in seniority, job titles, which industry you will work for, and all that. So what traditional lead generation services, you'd have to search through all the filters and know exactly which industry that you want to target.
Right.
For example, if you were building a chair and you wanted to sell those chairs,
Sure.
then you'd have to know that you'd have to go into furniture manufacturing or retail. But then in our service, if you just type in, I want to sell chairs, that AI does magic, and then it fills out all the necessary categories.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. So it's a time saver.
Yes, it's a time saver. It's a massive time saver.
Yeah. And for the work that you've done already in Asia Pacific, customers coming on, what are they saying about what you're doing so far?
Honestly, it's difficult because Asia, we don't have a lot of history or culture with lead generation. So
Sure.
few of the customers that we have, we really want them to be more vocal about loving our product and stuff.
Sure.
But they don't want people
They don't want to talk
know
about it, right?
One of our most loyal customer,
Right.
he's a fashion startup.
Okay.
And he matches fashion brands with influencers. And he's been using our product for 7 months. And he's seen his revenue grow by over 3-fold.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's never willing to talk about
He's
our
not going
product.
to talk about it. He doesn't want to give away the secret,
He doesn't
right?
want the competitors to know about
I
it.
understood.
Yeah.
Understood. You also do some really interesting stuff for maybe U.S. brands that would want to do sourcing, right?
Yeah, so-
talk about that a little bit.
Lead generation services in the States or in the European markets don't have access to the quality Asian data.
Right.
And I mean, this is all cultural and understandable because China has one of the strictest data regulations.
For sure.
And Japan, for geographical reasons, if they still keep their databases in books. Yeah, so if you don't have access to the local knowledge that we do, because we have team members from Japan, we have team members from China, Philippines, Vietnam. So if you don't have that local expertise,
right,
then it's really difficult to find quality Asian data.
Sure.
So if you're a US brand that's trying to break into Asia,
right,
then we have that database ready for you. So if you want let's go back to the chair example. You manufacture quality chairs in the US, but then you want to sell to more broader audience,
right?
Then we can help you with that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So your English is fantastic. You speak like a native speaker.
Thank you.
Did you go to school in the U.S.? Talk about that.
I went to school in Illinois. I went to school for Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and my major was initially physics.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And somehow you lost your way and built a company focused on sales.
Yeah.
Huh?
So for physics nowadays, it's a lot more computational.
Right.
So it's not, at least for the physics that I did engineering physics.
Sure.
So I worked a lot with code, and I thought that was really fun. So I started doing more programming like Python, MATLAB, and I used those programming languages to track stars.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I got into programming. And then I saw that, building stuff, even like with keyboards, is pretty fun.
Right.
So I started building more products. My first product that I tried was called an album in. So people don't use albums anymore.
Right.
So it was a service that you could use to, import pictures in it. And then we would build a digital album for you.
Interesting.
But that did not go well.
Didn't work, right?
That did not go well. Yeah. So I mean, I was pretty new to programming, and I just had this idea that I wanted to start something. So yeah. So that was my first idea, and then I got some jobs, and then now I'm here.
What do you think about Northwest Arkansas so far?
Honestly, I've been to a lot of places in the States. I've been to California for my startup.
Sure.
I've worked a little bit in New York. I've been to Chicago, obviously, for school. Right. But I've never met more friendly people in the States.
Yeah. It's a good place.
Yeah. I mean, everyone that I talk to, I've yet to meet a single non-friendly person.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, it started with you, Jeff. I mean,
well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you here for sure.
I mean,
So how can our audience find out more about what you do at DeepSales? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
To connect with us, we have a blog.deepsales.com, and it's a SaaS product, so you can just try our product at deepsales.com. You can always reach me at LinkedIn. It's a Korean LinkedIn, so it's a Lee Jangwon at 1995. It should just come talk to me on our blog. I think that's easier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on. And thanks for being here for the Global Accelerator program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm lucky enough today to be with Sarah No from Playtag. How you doing?
Good.
How you enjoying the startup crawl?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah, a little drunk, but it gives me more energy.
That's all part of it, right? That's all part of it.
Yeah.
So you're running this really great venture called Playtag that's focused on understanding and visibility and insights into the behavior of pre-K and kids of that age.
Right.
Talk a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Playtag, we develop AI model to observe, predict, and analyze child's behavior. So our solution right now is Storyline that I brought to the US.
Yeah.
We use AI and computer vision algorithms to track each and every child in a classroom setting.
Okay.
We use 3 metrics to observe them. One's how they move around the class, who they're interacting with, and what type of play they do throughout the day. So we use all these data to help teachers to make more data-driven decisions on giving individualized support they need in a classroom, giving valuable feedback to parents so that teachers are more empowered that way.
I gotcha. Yeah. And so the teachers can teach better and the parents like it as well. And the parents can get some of the insights also, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. So we give daily reports to parents, and we are now serving more than 1,000 students in Korea.
Wow.
And parents love it. They're over 90% satisfaction when we do the mass survey.
Very cool.
So yeah, because they get to know about what's happening in the classroom, learn about their kids more, having more conversation over dinner. So it's, yeah.
Talk about your background a little bit. How did you come to Playtag?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I studied industrial design. And I started my career as a designer, and I always had passion for children and learning.
Right.
So that my first job was Hasbro. So I
Okay,
made
at
toys.
Hasbro. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made toys for kids, and I always wanted to see how this play leads into their learning and how they develop over time. So when I went back to Korea, I did design strategy for Samsung and went to a game company and did a little bit of like how adults play, you know?
Sure.
So I've been always had this interest in play and their learning. And now I'm back with Playtag, really focusing on my interest.
Right.
On children, early education, and how they learn.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what are you trying to accomplish as part of this global accelerator program in the U.S. that you're doing with us? What's the idea there?
Yeah, we have been meeting a lot of customers in Korea, but we would love to meet new customers in the U.S., like directors, teachers, parents. So we would love to have our proof of concept, hear more on their feedback, and to really refine our products so that we'll be ready for the U.S. market.
A bigger rollout, right?
Yeah.
So you'll work with small, independently owned, and also franchises as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So we work with bigger kindergartens and also work with districts who wants to have this funding for the different daycares so that they deliver more quality education.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. If our audience wants to find out more about what Playtag does, what's the best way for them to find out?
I would say 2 different ways. One's info@playtag.ai.
Right.
Or find me from LinkedIn, Sarah No. I'm the head of product. So I can give you more information and try to connect with people
Very
and
good.
go from there. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
So a big part of Startup Junkie is our events. We had over 200 events last year in 2023, ranging from pitch competitions to networking opportunities to educational workshops. And these are always free for everyone to attend. They support entrepreneurs here in Northwest Arkansas, and we want to see you at Startup Junkie events. To learn more or sign up, visit startupjunkie.org.
Hey everybody, I'm Kate Loughridge. I'm the marketing manager for the new Arise program, and I'm here with our program manager, Kris Adams.
Hi.
And he's going to tell everybody a little bit about the Arise program.
Yeah. So Arise is the newest program that Startup Junkies has launched, and we're funded by the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. And the goal of the program is that we're here to help grow the Arkansas economy by supporting tech and tech-enabled startups that are scalable. The idea is that if we have more of these companies in the state, if we have more high-wage, highly in-demand, highly skilled technical jobs, that will benefit the economy in general by bringing more income here into the state. And so that's kind of how it's designed. And we're meant to be supporting Arkansas-based companies that are tech or tech-enabled and scalable. Those are the ideal clients that we're working with in this new program.
Perfect. I know we get a lot of questions about how to define tech and tech-enabled. Could you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, so a tech company for us is a company where their product is their technology. So think like a SaaS company, software as a service, a company like one of the ones we met tonight here that's a video game studio. Like it's really obvious that what they are building and selling is technology. Tech-enabled is a little bit of a fuzzier term, a little bit more vague. What tech-enabled means for us is that their business is dependent and runs solely by utilizing tech in a specific way. So I love giving some of our companies shout-outs. I'll give an example with our company that's in the program called Curate. Curate does food sourcing, which you wouldn't imagine is a tech sort of field, but they're tech-enabled because their wonderful founder, Kim Bryden, has built this platform entirely on her own that she built and coded, and it essentially connects larger institutions with smaller local vendors, and she couldn't do this food sourcing without this tech that sort of undergirds it all.
Wow.
So that's really what tech-enabled means. It's tech is driving that business, and that can look like a lot of different things. We have a duck decoy program company in the program. We have companies doing HR solutions, all utilizing tech to drive their business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the Arise program is pretty new this year. Can you talk a little bit about some milestones we've hit already since launching the program?
Yeah, so just the other day, we hit 101 days since our official launch, and we have 109 startups enrolled in the program, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And what's been so great is as the program has launched, I've had the joy of getting to do like all their initial onboarding. And so I've gotten to meet people from Wynn, from Jonesboro, from Texarkana, from here in Fayetteville, Bella Vista, Bentonville, Conway, and Little Rock. Just
All
hearing
109 of them.
all these different places doing tech that covers an incredible spectrum from ag tech, biotech, cybersecurity, and then like we just mentioned, tech-enabled companies that just aren't in traditional tech fields but are using some really interesting technologies to further their growth. So it's been phenomenal. We've hit milestones with the number of companies enrolled, and we've got about 30 incredible subject matter experts enrolled in the program that serve as the counselors for these startups. And we're always looking to grow that. Like my goal would be that we touch every imaginable tech sector in Arkansas with a representative who can speak and share their expertise to these companies.
Yeah. That's awesome. And did you already go into it with outside of the subject matter experts, everything else that we can do to help entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so we have a core center of services that we offer all of our startups. The first thing we provide is what Startup Junkies is known for, which is startup coaching and consulting. We're there walking with startups every step of their way in their journey, regardless of stage. So we work with idea stage companies all the way up through companies looking to be acquired or make an exit. We'll work with them all. So we do the coaching and consulting. We know that finding access to capital is difficult, so we help companies figure out how and when to access capital here in the natural state. So we'll connect them with VCs. We will help introduce them to angel investors, and we also help them understand the Arkansas Economic Development Commission state incentive programs. So lots of different ways to find and access funds. The third thing that we offer is connections to industry. We know that a lot of our founders are just like heads down and locked in building the best product they can, and they don't have the time to network and to meet everyone that they need to, and so we help facilitate some of that. And then the last thing is we do that subject matter expert network, which is really cool because we've got people with general business expertise. So people in like HR, sales, marketing, all those fields who have done it and done it well. And then we've got the deep tech people. We've got ag tech, biotech, cybersecurity. We've got someone who's a former Walmart buyer who can kind of speak to the journey of, trying to get your product into stores. We've got people with experience in massive multinational companies like McDonald's, Shopify, and then successful startup founders here locally who've grown their businesses and are now giving back as they consult the next generation of startups.
Yeah.
So that's what we offer.
Yeah, and I'll add too something that we've done a couple of, but that we're looking to do more in the future is partnering with Startup Junkie and Conductor on events. So that won't be every event that they do, but the tech enable, focused ones we'll partner with and hopefully do all over the state. And then all of that's also no cost to entrepreneurs. So
that's the big thing. No
the
cost,
coolest part.
Free of charge, and just like Startup Crawl, we love events. I really want to see us do things where we take some of our startups from across the state and have them pitch in different areas. So if you're from Northwest Arkansas, have you speak to entrepreneurs and groups on the eastern edge of the state and vice versa. I think it's great to kind of mix things up and have innovators and people who think outside of the box connect with each other in different areas. I'd love to see us do programming just everywhere where we can do things that are simple, like workshops on how to crank out your MVP, how to successfully raise capital, and then do things like pitch competitions, and really get some interesting tech experts from outside of Arkansas to kind of come in and speak to our entrepreneurs here and help inspire them and give them some wisdom as they're on their journey as well.
Yeah. And something I love is that we're a statewide program. So like my past 2 years working with Conductor, we're mainly focused on Central Arkansas, but working statewide in the more rural areas. And so talk a little bit about maybe our outreach leads and how we're kind of touching more parts of Arkansas other than just Northwest and Central.
Yeah, so Startup Junkie is based here in Northwest Arkansas, and Conductor is based in Conway. And so those two organizations have the Northwest and the Central areas of the state really well covered. We're hiring outreach leads to cover Northeast, so think like the Jonesboro area, the Southeast and the Southwest corners of the state, because we want to make sure that these services are accessible everywhere. We are primarily technology driven ourselves. So people who sign up online for the program can meet with our counselors and SMEs completely digital wherever they're at. And not only do we want to see entrepreneurs well represented from across the state, we want to have all of the great tech talent here in Arkansas participating as well. We want to have SMEs from every corner and every industry involved. And so I love that we're going to be building something big that engages all of Arkansas for Arkansas's future, driven by Arkansans. Like it's exciting.
Yeah.
Now you've asked all the questions, so I'm gonna turn the tables real quick. Tell everyone about what you do and your role as our marketing manager and how they'll likely interact with you.
Yeah, so I just jumped into the position about 3 weeks ago. It's been amazing. We've already done some outreach events. I've gotten to talk to a bunch of cool people. Being here at the Startup Crawl, I've got to meet a bunch of our clients, and everything they do is so niche and so cool, and I just love being a part of it. So a lot of the stuff I do is graphic creation. I'm in charge of our social media posts, a lot of outreach communication responsibilities, and like we had a call with our outreach leads last week. Love them. So I'll be doing a lot of work with them on making sure that all the branding across the state, everybody work with is cohesive and just kind of checking up on things, sending out brand guidelines, creating one-pagers, business cards. So it's kind of a two-man team on the day-to-day work of Arise. So it's been really fun. So we tag team a lot of things. So it's awesome.
Well, I say the one last thing that we've got to get out there is that if you're interested, if you're a tech or tech-enabled company, you've got to make sure that you apply for Arise. You can hit arisearkansas.org. You fill out a quick application. Then you have to put up with me for an onboarding call where I get to learn a little bit more about you. We talk about your company, what your pain points are, and then we really just get you plugged into the program. We'll give you access to our SME network, access to our digital resources that are available, our digital resource library, ebooks, videos, webinars, and really just get you plugged in. So if you're an entrepreneur out there that's in a tech or tech-enabled company, enroll with Arise. We'd love to help you out, scale your venture, and be a benefit here to the natural state. So thanks for taking some time to talk.
Yeah,
this is a great startup crawl, and
awesome.
We'll hopefully see you guys at Arise events soon.
All right, we're here at Startup Crawl 2024 in the Fayetteville Town Center. My name is Caleb Talley, and I'm with the Startup Junkie team. We're excited to be podcasting live from Startup Crawl. It is the 6th iteration of this event, and a ton of people out here having a good time. And we're also very excited to be here with Stephen Park with DOWHAT. Stephen, how's it going?
Doing well so far. I've met a lot of people here and around the region as well. I've been up to Bentonville, Fayetteville, and Springdale as well. It's a really nice neighborhood, and it's nice to be here in the U.S. like in 20 years, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So for context, y'all, Stephen is here as part of the Global Market Expansion Program that Startup Junkie is participating in. He's visiting us from Korea for the next few weeks. And him and his company, DOWHAT, will be out and about, kind of getting engaged. We're working with Startup Junkie in our network to try to connect you with the ecosystem.
Yes.
So we're glad to have you. As you said, it's your first time to the States in the last 20 years?
Yeah, it has. So I used to live in Alabama for 6 years in the elementary school. So Yeah, it's been 20 years since I came here. I don't know. I feel that same vibe that I used to feel 20 years ago. And yeah.
Are you comparing Arkansas to Alabama?
Arkansas is way better.
That's
I don't know where this is going out, but yeah,
We're worldwide.
much better. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. As long as you said Arkansas is better. So how has the reception been in Northwest Arkansas thus far?
Well, I don't know. Like the people are so kind here, and even when I had like meetings in like the hospitality field that I work in, they were really kind to me, and then they were really like, really, giving me good advice on the industry. And I don't know. I have a lot to work on here because it's really different from the market in Korea. But yeah.
So for those that are unfamiliar, tell us a little bit about what DOWHAT is. So it's a hospitality venture. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think people in the hospitality market right now will be familiar with Opera System, with Oracle. Oracle's a huge company. And then we actually integrate with those kind of solutions to, offer customer orders. And then it goes to like the staff mobile app. We also provide a mobile app in which they can take care of all the operations within the hotel and resorts. We actually work with 55 hotels in Korea and with huge groups in Korea, like number 1 through 5. And then, we're trying to expand into the US market, finding opportunities and getting insights.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about specifically what DOWHAT does.
So DOWHAT actually tries to get operational efficiency because we want to reduce the steps in the orders. So when the customer make orders, the staff can take care of everything over their mobile app instead of, taking the calls and then, assigning it to someone else. And then we're actually increasing the in-room sales.
So you're talking about room service requests, things of that nature.
Anything through the mobile app, QR codes, tablet PCs, any of those.
So I could go on and say, come fluff my pillow.
Yeah, you can make that request. You can make that request over mobile.
Rub my feet.
Yeah. If the hotel wants those services, they provide them.
Awesome. So, what kind of coming into this program? What was what was going through your mind? What was your anticipation in coming and participating in this program? How has this program thus far met your expectation or not? Exceeded or vice versa?
So at first I was kind of worried because it was Arkansas. Like I'm not having prejudice against the state, but it's not really known to the Korean community. But when I came here, I saw that there was like a really, really good network in the hospitality market and also in other industries as well. As I'm with like 14 other Korean companies, they're all working hard. And then there's a really good network here to work on. And then for us to expand on with our Korean technology as well. So I'm actually satisfied with the program so far. And then Startup Junkie is really helping us a lot to, gain that network and then try to get the leads that we need.
What's something that surprised you?
Something that surprised me. There's nothing to do at night here. Like that's what surprised me.
No, you're looking
it's
in the
so
wrong
quiet.
places. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Oh, okay. I'll get advice from you later then.
Just don't tell my wife.
Oh, yeah. I won't.
What has so I guess that was to surprise you, but tell us maybe a story of an experience you've had so far.
Here, I've actually had like a Uber driver that was like sleep driving, so I almost got in a crash, but I made it in one piece to Bentonville. Actually, I had a meeting with 21C Hotel, but then I kept on waking him up like in the middle of it. So that was a crazy experience, but
you're gonna survive this trip.
Yes, I hope. I have like 5 more weeks here, so I hope I meet the good Uber driver.
What's on your bucket list for the remaining few weeks?
I actually want to, have at least one demo with a hotel and then try to get a contract with them. And if not, I just want to get that, insight from them and then learn about the market first.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what's up, guys? Calvin Smith, de facto chairman of the board for Startup Junkie Foundation. Super excited to end the night of Startup Crawl talking to the man who makes it all happen, Mr. Caleb. So Caleb, how you feeling after the night, man?
Right. I wouldn't say I'm the man. I'm the man who signs the checks when everybody's trying to get out of here.
Sure. No, you've done a great job. So tell us about this evening. What did you see? What did you hear? How do you feel about it? What's the vibe in 2024 for Startup Pro?
I would say the vibe for 2024 Startup Crawl, a lot of good energy. And I feel like there's just a broader diversity of activity than we've seen in past years. So looking back, I guess having had the fortune of being with Startup Junkie since 2019. 2019 was my first Startup Crawl. I remember starting, and about a couple months into that position, Haley Allgood, who's the executive director at the time, said, "Oh yeah, we've got this event. We expect about 2,000 people. There's a ton of things to do. Here, this is yours now."
Yeah.
And so that being my first opportunity, where we were only at the Prior Center. So for those who might not be familiar, so the Prior Center is where the Startup Junkie office is. Big, beautiful red brick building. Can fit about 25 or so exhibitors. We're sitting here in the Fayetteville Town Center where we had at least 50 exhibitors in addition to the 25 that we have at the Prior Center. So it's grown quite a bit. This is the first time that we've expanded, into this, the wall to wall in this space. So that gives us a good diversity of startups, and not just startups, but folks that work with startups.
Sure.
So, just over our shoulder here, we've got the entrepreneurial support kind of pavilion where we've got folks where y'all are stationed. So the idea is, if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur or is an entrepreneur and they come in and participate in this event, they have a place where they can go and shake hands and kind of know who they need to know as part of that process too, to kind of help them up. So just a lot of good energy, a lot of good music outside, a lot of good beverages.
Absolutely.
So it's just a good event. Yeah.
So 2019 to 2024, Startup Junkie, the foundation itself has expanded quite a bit, but the Startup Crawl for sure has.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you attribute that to the most? Like, we've got well over 100 companies here tonight, thousands of people walking around the square and engaging in sort of this entrepreneur ecosystem. What do you consider is the top 2 or 3 biggest factors for that growth?
Well, I can say my gray hair contributing factor is to that growth, but it's a good thing. Going with the Doctor Strange look. But I would say, and even talking with our founder, Jeff, and CEO at Startup Junkie Consulting, Brett, talking with them, we joke around about just kind of our staying power.
Sure.
There are a lot of organizations that have come into the region and tried to do certain things, and they leave whenever it doesn't work out in their favor, maybe. Startup Junkie has the staying power, I think, of any organization that kind of operates in this space. There are some incredible entrepreneurial support organizations, and they've all been on display here, and we love working with them. We collaborate a ton. But I consider us the OGs to an extent. Jeff thought that meant the old guy, but old guy, original gangster, whatever you can call it.
Either one.
Yeah. We have the staying power, but I think that continuing to put your head down, do good work, and do good work that you don't necessarily expect to see immediate returns out of, pays dividends in the long run. And I think that you can point to that, and you look at the organizations like us that do work in this ecosystem, the ones that do well, the ones that stick around, the ones that have a strong network, the ones that we lock arms with, are the ones that come in with the goal to add value first. It's not zero sum. It's kind of where we want to be. And so we always talk about, as a team, just being that entity that's always going to grind it out, regardless of what the political landscape looks like for nonprofit organizations or funding organizations, that sort of thing. Just always being the one that's going to find a way to grind it out regardless. Yeah. And if we're still here, the next go round, then we're still have the ability to touch and impact the folks that are around us during that process.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Caleb, you do a great job, and we appreciate you just on the board and just as a member of the community, driving Startup Junkie and making it what it is today. When you come to an event like this, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, and you're as a nonprofit, there's not a lot of recognition sometimes, right? So when you come to an event like this, your wife's part of the ecosystem. You've got, the baby now? Like when you come to an event like this and you see what you're building and what you're creating, like what do you feel? What's your personal vibe, and what do you take away, going into the next 6 months from this event?
I can say immediately, just my first thought is that like it feels so familial, because having been in this ecosystem for a while, and my wife's been in the ecosystem, kind of different geographical locations, and we're kind of coming together with a baby walking around. It's like people that I've worked with from a client consultant perspective or collaborator perspective, that's kind of seeing us as a family unit that is now engaging like this entrepreneurial support familial unit.
Yeah.
It's pretty kind of wholesome to think about it in that perspective. So it's funny just like to kind of walk through here as a family and get hugs from people who we've collaborated with or I've consulted with or who we've supported as entrepreneurs in the past, kind of engage with us as individuals rather than just that, consultant and client perspective. It just like puts it all into perspective, and that we're all a part of a broader Northwest Arkansas community, to where, and I think that's also kind of part of the DNA of this region as well, because there's less of that, if I'm winning, you're losing perspective.
Yeah.
We're all winning together.
Absolutely.
And so I think, just engaging with folks who are in, like-minded organizations who are here with their families too. We're all doing this together, and it's all for the betterment of the place that we call home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Last couple questions here, Caleb. So coming out of Startup Crawl 2024, what's on the horizon for Startup Junkie going into next year? And then last part, what can we expect from Startup Crawl in 2025?
That's a great question. So coming out of Startup Crawl 2024, a sabbatical. I've put it blocked on my calendar. It says recovery.
Sure.
But it's been a pretty crazy season for Startup Junkie, and I think a lot of that has been can be attributed to that growth. Just about some of the growth that we've had just from 2019 to 2024. I mean, I can pinpoint some pretty significant growth just from 3 months ago to today, where we've taken on new programs and new projects that we're kind of even in the midst of right now. And if you're watching this, you probably have seen us interview some of the Korean entrepreneurs that have been a part of that. That's part of that growth. I mean, It's just new projects that Jeff would say he feels like the dog that caught the car.
Yeah.
I feel like that all the time. And so I think coming out of this, I think we're just kind of staying focused on what moves the needle for the people we serve, for us and the people we serve. But thinking ahead to Startup Call 2025, I might have to sleep on that one. Have some more bourbon and sleep on that one. But I think we always learn things that, okay, maybe this didn't work or maybe that didn't work. Just, taking a post-op, figuring out what worked this year, what we can do differently next year. I think looking at 2019 from my first go round to now, there's so much that we've done differently, so much that we've changed. But that's by virtue of saying, okay, that didn't work. Okay, this would be better if we did this a little differently. But just being mindful of all those things and planning ahead, for the next go round, so it's not as stressful. I'm not arguing in the street with somebody whose vehicle we towed at 3 o'clock to start a startup crawl at 5 o'clock. Sure. We didn't have to do that this year.
That's great.
We learned last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Caleb, you've done a great job, man. We appreciate you, and you should be proud of walking around tonight and seeing, what you've created. And not just, I know it's not just you. I know you have an amazing team at the foundation and does a great job. But as a board member and just a part of the community, well done, sir. And
I appreciate that.
Get some rest and get back after it, because we're counting on to be better next year.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Calvin.
Yeah.
If you would like to get your business in front of the Startup Junkies audience, sponsor the show. If you'd like to learn more about sponsoring the Startup Junkies podcast, email us at team@startupjunkie.org.